some tariffs still represent significant barriers to trade, but attention is progressively shifting to non-tariff measures, such as technical barriers to trade, subsidies, or export restrictions. If in the past the focus was on national measures, ensuring non-discrimination and transparency scrutiny, along with the policies that influence services trade. Governments employ non-tariff measures to increase national welfare and for political economy reasons.
The product market regulation indicators are the most frequently used data on service measures. This indicates an increase in market contestability but provides limited information on trends of market access, national treatment, and domestic regulation. One of the difficulties in measuring domestic regulation is that it is often sector specific. Non tariff measures are diverse and cannot easily be compared across countries and sectors. A number of studies quantify the effect on non tariff measures on international trade by estimating an ad valorem tariff equivalent. Non tariff measures almost double the level of trade restrictiveness imposed by tariffs. The degree of restrictiveness of service measures is generally higher in developing countries than in developed countries, yet there is no systematic relationship between the restrictiveness of service measures and income per capita. There is evidence that barriers to trade and competition in transport and logistics have a negative impact not only on a cross-border trade in transport service, but also on a country's overall trade performance. Similarly, regulatory barriers to FDI flows and business service are shown to affect export performance in manufacturing sectors such as machinery, motor vehicles, chemicals, and electric equipment.
Does not constrain the regulatory autonomy of WTO members except where national treatment, that is when they treat better an imported product, most favored nation, that is when they discriminate between two like imported products, and then the border prohibition that has a limit on quantity or amount of a product being imported or exported. Different approaches for non-tariff measures that pursue a legitimate regulatory objective should be found to violate the non-discrimination obligations in the GATT and the other WTO agreements. Changes in international markets arise from a number of issues, including how a business is organized, the growing sensitivity of consumers, and finally, because of health and climate concerns. On the other hand, it is also likely that the use of non-tariff measures in response of foreseeable trends in the global economic environment. But how to address those challenges? Addressing regulatory challenges in trade requires doing more than curbing non-transparent or unduly restrictive regulatory practices. It's good to share knowledge on good practices and strengthen regulatory institutions. Increasing transparency opens trade. Transparency can be improved by providing the WTO with the resources necessary to independently monitor governments and markets, or relying on some third party to do the same. Limiting the protectionist application of non tariff measures requires better integration of economic and legal analysis.